our certificate of completion, which shows that we have traveled from Chicago all the way to Los Angeles, more specifically the Santa Monica Pier, along Route 66, so we have officially earned our certificate of completion. Our names are Mike and Heather. We're traveling the US in our van Appa on a mission to visit all 50 states. Subscribe and join us as we try to figure out this whole van life thing. As always, thanks for watching. Hello from Arizona once more. We are currently on a Route 66 road trip that started all the way back in Chicago, and we're very close to the end now, which is Los Angeles. We are going to cross into California today, which is the last stop along Route 66, but before we do, we just have a few van life errands to run. We did manage to take a shower this morning after that very sweaty day in Vegas yesterday. Second thing we need to accomplish today is an oil change for Appa, because you definitely put on a lot of miles traveling on Route 66.
Once we get that done, we're going to go back to Topak, one of the two, and from there we're going to drive into California and start the beginning of our last state on Route 66.
The beginning of the end.
Yes.
We didn't want to miss any parts of Route 66, which is why we hopped back down from Las Vegas, and then we're going to be able to take it right where we left off all the way into California. Have successfully gotten an oil change, and as we were making our way back, we also passed a Route 66 diner called Mr. D's. They're known for their pizza and milkshakes, so we got both. We actually have a little bit of pizza left over, so we'll be able to enjoy that for dinner as well. But it was actually right across from the visitor center that we drove Appa through the first time we came through Kingsman about 2 days ago now. And now we're headed back on the highway, not Route 66, to Topak, where we'll pick up Route 66 and then get into California. We got back to Topak, which was where we popped up to Vegas, and now we are mere seconds away from being in California. We can see the bridge that we need to cross, and then we'll officially be in California.
The sign for California is just ahead. Here we go. And we are there.
We're in California! The last state on our Route 66 travels. I can't even believe that we're here. It honestly feels a little bit surreal because this has been a very long journey, and California always seemed like it was gonna take forever to get here, but it feels like time just flew by, and I can't believe we're here.
We are now into California, which is the last state that we will go through. So we are on the last leg, the home stretch of Route 66 as we make our way towards the West Coast. It's crazy. This is a state I've never been to before, and we have a few really cool things that we're gonna do as we get closer and closer to the end of Route 66.
We have made it to our first California little town along Route 66, which is Needles. So far we've been seeing a lot of cool murals, all the old vintage neon signs, and lots of palm trees. We're also seeing gas prices above $7, so that stings a little bit, but trying to focus on the positive that we're in California.
We are cruising right along. It is absolutely another hot one. We checked the temperature just a little bit ago, and I think it was at 113 degrees.
It most definitely was.
That's wild. So our hope was that we were going to be able to do a couple of short to moderate hikes today as we came into California. I'm not sure if we're going to still be able to do those just because of how hot it is today. So we'll see if we can maybe get them in the evening or something like that. But either way, it's really cool to be driving along in California, seeing the palm trees. It's weird because we're kind of in the desert area of California, and coming in from Arizona, it's different scenery than I would have expected. And I guess it makes sense though, because we're not too far from Death Valley, but it's just a really interesting part of California.
Hey darling, we could get out of town. See the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
Just so you all know that I wasn't exaggerating about the gas prices here in California, it is $7.99. So we just left Roy's, which is a famous pit stop along Route 66, and it has been kind of a watering station for many years before Route 66 even existed, because it's kind of like an oasis in the middle of the desert. You can get water, gas, food, and it's really the only thing for miles.
We continued along just a little bit over to the Amboy Crater. The Amboy Crater was a volcano that erupted, and you can actually hike down into the crater and be where a volcano once was, which we thought would be really cool. The only issue today is it is very, very hot.
That hike is actually recommended from October through April, just because the heat and the temperature gets insane in this area. Now, it is also recommended that if you are going to do it outside of those months, to do it in the morning or in the evening when the temperature kind of subsides. But because it is still the heat advisory, the temperature isn't even breaking overnight, so there's not that much of a difference in the mornings and the evenings. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to probably pass on this, just because we don't want to do anything dangerous. There is a scenic overlook that you can go to, so even if you can't hike, you can still drive to the crater, and there's this really short pathway that you can go to a scenic overlook to be able to see the lava fields and the crater and almost imagine where the tip would have been while it was still a volcano. We did do that, but unfortunately I think we're probably gonna pass on the hiking, just because we don't want to put ourselves in a situation that is dangerous.
The other thing that's a little bit challenging with this part of Route 66 is the road past Amboy is actually closed. They've put up multiple points of signage for restricting traffic down Route 66 at this point. So I think we're going to have to backtrack a little bit and go around the road construction work in order to reconnect with Route 66.
Just another Route 66 stop to add to our return list when we do come down this again. I think Mike and I have both enjoyed this trip far too much to only do it once in our lifetime, so one day we'll be back. But now we're heading towards Barstow to hopefully find some cooler temperatures. It probably won't be by much, but anything's better than 113 degrees at this point.
Pack your bags and fire up the engine. Drive until your heart can feel the mountains. Drive until your eyes are barely open. Gotta find the answers to the questions.
The only dash light I'm okay with coming on, apparently to the distress of Heather.
I'm not too happy about it coming on, because now we're gonna have to experience those high gas prices that I was talking about earlier here in California.
I mean, we're gonna experience them either way.
Well, I was trying to hold out for as long as possible.
I was too.
To the gas station.
When we were down by Amboy, because I think there was nothing else for miles and miles around, the gas price was $7.99. We're pulling in here, which is off of I-40 and actually reconnects with Route 66, so that's cool. We're getting back on Route 66 and are gonna drive that forward. But gas prices here are $6.98, so a full $1 cheaper than we saw out in the middle of the desert.
We knew that we would have to be paying high prices, just unfortunately given the circumstances. But it was a little bit of a sticker shock, even though we knew California was probably going to have the highest prices.
$6.89. 10 cents cheaper than I thought.
But still seeing the number in person and getting that first receipt.
I forgot my wallet.
That's helpful. Is a little bit of a sticker shock.
Where's the wallet? I think the lowest we paid was $4.19, and the most we paid before California was $5.49. And I think at home in New York, it was $4.79.
I promise I'll stop talking about the gas prices. It's just the first day and I'm adjusting to the sticker shock.
This one's pretty fancy. Oh, and it just poured out.
No, don't waste any. It's almost a full moon.
Yeah, it's cool looking at it over the mountains and the deserts. It's a completely different view than we've seen before. That'll be it though.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god.
So to fill up from the gas light coming on is about 12 gallons and $83 pretty much.
That hurt.
Yeah, it didn't feel very good, but I guess it kind of is one of those things where unfortunately it just is the nature of what it is.
The way that I prefer to think of it to make myself feel better when I do see that is that we aren't staying in hotels every night. So if you think about it, as our gas is also part of our accommodation because we're living out of this vehicle, $86 for a hotel room isn't the worst thing. So also our blinkers out. So we need to get a right turn signal light bulb. $82 a night for a hotel, not that bad. And we get views like this. We didn't make it to a car wash, so you still see all the bugs splattered all over, but maybe tomorrow.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action.
I like the palm trees.
We can be like with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited for.
I think we can just do RV parking at the back.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of RVs and vans.
We have made it into Barstow. We came to a Walmart and are going to use their parking lots. We actually found this Walmart on iOverlander and it had really good reviews, so definitely excited to find a nice place to stay. We ran inside to Walmart, grabbed a couple of supplies, and are going to get set up for the night.
The good thing is that the temperature is way less here than it was when we were here in the middle of the desert. So out that way it's still about 100 degrees. Here it's what?
I think high 80s, low 90s compared to high 90s.
Which after being in over 110 degree weather for like the last couple of days, this actually feels like
reasonable.
Yeah, cool almost.
Lift that up, get this around it. Because it is a very kind of hot evening, we're not really in the mood for any kind of hot food. We're also a little bit tired, so we figured cereal is the perfect option for tonight. We had some pizza left over from our stop at the diner that we had considered cooking, but I think this just seems a lot more appetizing for the time being, so we are excited to have our Cheerios and Reese's Puff cereal for dinner tonight.
Yep, so that means that pizza at some point tomorrow probably.
Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out.
Give me one.
I'm done living life with the lights out, down with my own doubt. Be free with me. Be free with me.
Good morning. We are getting ready to leave the Walmart that we stayed in last night and get back on Route 66 heading towards the coast. We have just a few stops left, I think, before we finish our Route 66 journey. It's been really amazing so far and I'm really excited to get to the end.
Yeah, it's a bit bittersweet. I'm very excited to finally see that end Route 66 sign, but I kind of don't want it to be over at the same time. You know you're in California when even when you're leaving Walmart, it's covered in palm trees.
It's so easy to see that you're in love with me. Carve your name next to mine on that big oak tree. That's how you
Our first stop here today is Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. And if you look behind us, you can see why it's called Bottle Tree Ranch.
This art installation slash passion project was created by a man named Elmer Long, hence Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. He created this by making these metal poles and welding on pieces to mount glass bottles. And it really is an entire forest of these trees. You can even hear birds chirping in here because they've taken to nesting in this location. It's something unlike anything we've seen on Route 66, and it really is cool to just see the work that one man put in.
It's really neat to see all the old bottles. There's Route 66 bottles, there's even more vintage ones. But my favorite part is at the top, each different tree has a different, I guess, store. So you'll have scooters and
guitars and
surfboards,
saws,
parts of cars. There's a little bit of everything here. It's a cool, quirky stop that one may look at all these pieces individually as junk, but put together is an amazing masterpiece. So unfortunately Elmer did pass away in 2019, but it is really nice here to see that part of him lives on for all of us to still enjoy, and also the birds. It feels like this place goes on forever too.
You bring me things from the store and put it at my front door. I've lost count of the times this have happened before. Not that I'm keeping score, 'cause I do the same for you, just like I'm supposed to do. I'm yours, you're mine.
So this is actually right on Route 66. It's almost impossible to miss if you're driving this way towards the coast, or if you're coming the other way. It really is a beacon here in the desert. So we were driving, we had it punched into the GPS and it actually was taking us past it, and we saw it on the side of the road. So there's no way you can miss it if you're looking for it, and I think you absolutely should be.
Of the road for 3 miles.
As we're heading towards San Bernardino, it left the desert real quick and now it's completely back to civilization.
A lot of businesses, familiar stores, even some green grass as we're driving through this section. I think we may be leaving it and heading back into some less populated areas, but we're back on the highway now because the historic Route 66 section that we were driving ended. So we're on this until we can pick it back up again according to our Route 66 navigation app.
It's at least a little reassuring to see the gas prices go down as we're heading deeper into California along Route 66.
Yeah, so we just paid $6.03 a gallon. I figured we were at about half a tank, so it was good to fill up and get cheaper gas where we could find it, because that's some of the cheapest gas we've seen since we've been in this state. We're getting closer to LA in the city, so I would expect to see it go back up, and if we have to spend less buying gas in those expensive places, it's all the better, so we'll take it where we can find it. But we won't talk to you too much about gas because that's all anyone's talking about lately.
We probably will.
Pulled off the road into just a plaza along Route 66 as we're driving through. We figured we would make a quick sandwich for lunch as we're working our way down. We still have some miles to go before we get to the end, but we've really been enjoying our time in California. We haven't had as many stops in this part, but it's been really cool to see the scenery change from the desert into the more city area as we get closer to the coast. So we've definitely been enjoying the driving aspect of Route 66 through California. And Heather is preparing our lunch in the back.
I'm using my hair clip as a bag clip because we ran out of them. We just finished lunch, so hanger crisis averted, and we're headed towards Hollywood. But first we have to turn left. I forgot to attach down the thing, so that thing's been flying open and closed the whole time.
First day of spring, and I just wanna sing to everything that's moving, every single little thing, to them birds flying free.
So we just crossed into LA. That means that we are so close to completing our Route 66 journey, and it feels so surreal, but the traffic up ahead definitely kind of wrecks that daydream just a little bit here.
So we can actually see the LA, I won't even say skyline, because we can see the city just over to our left. Kind of exactly what I thought LA traffic would be like. It's slow going, kind of a crawl as we get closer to the city, but it's insane that we're in LA.
But it is also kind of exciting to see the traffic, because this is like what everybody talks about, and it's just part of it. So even the traffic in LA, now we can say that we've sat in LA traffic.
And I think we can be optimistic about this because we don't live here and go through LA traffic all the time. But for us, it's kind of a novel experience. So we're more than happy to deal with this as we make our way along Route 66.
We're getting closer to Hollywood, and we are keeping our eyes out for that Hollywood sign. Neither of us have ever seen it in person before, so we're really excited. Gotta be getting close.
This is another kind of cool and interesting part of Route 66. We're seeing lots of scooters in the bike lane, of people just whipping down the road, which is really cool to see.
I very enthusiastically just saw the sign up ahead, and my got scared thinking that I was like pointing out at something, but we see it up ahead. It may not have picked up on camera because we do not have a zoom lens, but we did see the Hollywood sign off into the distance, so bucket list checked for that. One day we'll eventually hike it, but until then, that was pretty cool just to see the sign. Our mission for today is to get to the end of Route 66, preferably before 7 p.m. because that's when a very special store closes and we need to get there. See it again, it's right behind that brick building.
Oh, there it is.
Woo!
It is pretty cool. In terms of just kind of a neat little sightseeing landmark.
How iconic it is.
Yeah, to see it from Route 66 as we're driving is kind of cool. So right now we're driving down Santa Monica Boulevard, which is what Route 66 kind of is as we drive to the Santa Monica Pier. So this is Route 66. There have been different alignments, but this is the one that the navigation has us on. It's the one our book would have us on. So we are kind of racing towards the end of this Route 66 journey, and it's just really exciting.
We have 9.1 miles to go before we reach the end. 5 miles away, but a half hour away. And we need to be at the pier before 7. Can we make it?
I don't know. I guess it's up to traffic. It's moving, it's just the lights and there's a lot of cars. So we'll see how we go. 1 mile, 20 minutes. Can we do it? I think we can. I think we can make it. It's gonna be close.
This is the longest red light ever.
Lincoln Street red light. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Green. It's crazy. This is the end of Route 66. We are so close to being there, and we are right at the time limit on being able to hit this with any kind of timing. Oh, no. No. Okay, well, at least we've got no one in front of us. But that's it, I think, right up ahead.
Oh yeah, I see the ocean. Now I see it.
Okay, we got the palm trees up there. There's not much in front of us.
Except the entire ocean. Catching our first glimpses of the pier.
Oh, Route 66 Visitor Center.
Is that where we have to go? No.
No, I think we've got to go out onto the pier. So where is parking? I think it's out that way.
I don't know if we're gonna make it. Hi. Is it too late to get the certificate of completion?
No, not at all.
Okay, perfect.
No. Oh, are you looking at our hours and we close at 7?
Yes.
So we have weird hours. We're open until 7, or if people want us to stay later, that we're
My
here.
husband and I were like rushing to like get here before 7. He just like went to go park because we've done it all the way from Chicago on here.
Welcome to the finish.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got a guest book for you to sign.
Awesome.
And I'd love to hear a bit about the trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey!
Hey!
Welcome to the finish.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We were just talking about our hours are actually 7 or later. If it's busy, we stay late.
Oh!
That was like we were
summertime,
running.
usually it's busy, so I wind up staying late.
That's
on 3
awesome.
days. And my coworker sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. It just kind of depends on how she
Well, we appreciate it today.
Yeah.
for sure.
We've already been saying that we have an absolute need to do this again.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we do these. It's really about creating the next generation of ambassadors for the road.
Yeah.
And helping other people find what it really is.
All right, perfect. All right, that's
Okay.
it. We made it to the end of Route 66 here in Santa Monica, at the end of the Santa Monica Pier. Well, not the end, but it's just really cool. We had a chance to stop over at the 66 to Cali little shop here on the pier. Amazing. We got to talk to Ian, who was working there, and have some great Route 66 conversation, and it was just such a great end to this trip. So right now we are actually going off the pier for just a quick second, and we're walking down to the Pacific Ocean. The reason is, and was really a kind of great piece of information we got from the 66 to Cali shop, was the end of the trip wasn't necessarily about making it to the pier. It was about getting to the ocean and being able to put your feet in, because there was really no other way that people were getting here back when the route officially began.
So that's what we're gonna go do, is put our feet in the ocean. We got there at 6:55 to get our certificate of completion, which shows that we have traveled from Chicago all the way to Los Angeles, more specifically the Santa Monica Pier, along Route 66, so we have officially earned our certificate of completion. Also, probably something that I'm even more excited about this, if you can believe. It took until the very last stop to be able to find this. Literally, Ian said that he got this just 3 days ago. So we were going down the entire route. We stopped filming it. We stopped at so many places asking. Literally, the last stop, we got one of the Route 66 passports. But I guess we saved the best for last, because he was able to stamp it at his 66 to Cali, and he said that his stamp is one of the most unique because he actually hand draws it on. So I guess if we only had to get one stamp on our entire trip, I'm so glad that it was 66 to Cali. So even if you are in Santa Monica and not doing Route 66, highly recommend stopping there, because it's an amazing place. Ian's amazing with lots of knowledge, not only on Route 66, but the entire area, and just was absolutely the cherry on top of our awesome road trip here.
We are going to be doing what travelers along Route 66 have done as they come to the end here in Santa Monica. We're going to put our feet in the Pacific Ocean and end our Route 66 adventure. The waves are coming in kind of high though, so we'll have to stand a little ways back.
That's cool. We did it! I'm so happy. Can you believe it?
It is hard to believe, and honestly, I will say that along this route,
That's a big one.
along this route, maybe more so than any of the other road trips that we've done, there was points where you're just emotional about like how much this road means to people and how special this journey is and can be.
Meeting Angel, Ian, and just people care so deeply,
And that's all along the road.
Yeah,
you know, when
that's
you
what's
stop in
keeping
it,
this alive.
when you stop in at shops, or you stop in at visitor centers or museums, and just, it really is something else. I don't know if there's anything else like it with this culture and this impact.
Just got back to Appa to put away our Route 66 goodie souvenirs that we got from 66 Cali. I'm covered in sand now, but I think that's exactly what's supposed to happen when you go to a beach on the Pacific Ocean. We made it.
We ended up being able to get down the pier to the sort of symbolic end of Route 66. So you have to walk down the pier to the sign. We touched the sign, got our picture, but it's sort of an interesting story because the sign that they have on the pier is actually not even the real sign. It was sort of a movie prop that was taken to be fact and replicated on the pier.
The sign on 66 Cali is actually the only confirmed sign that has the end to Route 66 on it. So if you want to see the original end of Route 66 sign, you have to go to 66 to Cali, which is that little shop where you also get your certificate of completion. The symbolic one is still pretty cool, but surprisingly, there was a long line.
It shows that a lot of people love the idea of Route 66 and are wanting to get their picture here. The hope is that it leads to a question of, well, if this is the end, because it says the end on both sides, they want people to ask the question of, well, where does it begin? There really isn't a real end to Route 66. Even the signs just said keep going as you got down to this part of the drive. So we are so excited to have finished, and it really is a trip that I think if you have the ability to take, you absolutely should do.
If you can do even a small segment of it, do it. Absolutely do it. Also, side note, Ian, who's very knowledgeable, again, of not just Route 66 stuff, but just general California, he kind of explained why the gas prices were so high. So I can't even be that mad about it anymore, because apparently it has to do with the environment, and because of the way that California has peaks and valleys, a lot of the pollution from gasoline gets trapped. So they have to make sure that they're only supplying the gas stations with the pure gasoline. He explained it a lot better, but essentially they need really good gasoline to make sure that there's less pollution in the air, so that way everybody can enjoy California.
There is a reason that gas prices are higher, which made me feel a little bit better about the situation, and also a little bit bad for complaining so much.
Yeah, we'll try to complain a little less, okay?
Yeah.
It's still sticker shock, but I can appreciate the reason behind it.
So we are still sat here at the Santa Monica Pier. There's a couple more things that we want to do.
There's a book in here now too. Oh, no.
Hang on, let's see if we can carefully get him out. Oh, I think I got him. Go fly moth. Okay.
Now that we have made it to Santa Monica Pier, there's only one more thing, or actually two more things to do tonight. The first being putting our stickers on, that we have 3 more to add from our road trip here. And the second thing is go enjoy that pier. To the pier.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low. Now, if you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe. Striking the winner post now. Liberty's on my mind. We've taken off, we've left the ground.
It is now the day after we have officially finished Route 66, if you can even say that you've ever been finished with it, as there's always so much more to go back into. We are in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, so it has truly come full circle. We started our first night on our Route 66 journey in a Cracker Barrel, and now we've ended in one.
Last night after we finished up at the pier, we drove over to the Formosa Cafe, which was really cool. It was a stop that we were wanting to do on Route 66 on the way in, but wanted to make sure we got to that 66 to Cali store before it closed. Luckily, Formosa Cafe was open till midnight, so we got to go in there and have a quick bite to eat, which was really fantastic. We enjoyed the entire vibe of the place and the scenery and the history, so that was really cool.
So that's gonna be a wrap on our Route 66 journey. We've had an amazing time, and really hope you all have had one as well, following along with us.
And we absolutely feel that there are more things to see and do than we even had a chance to on our 2-week journey, so without a doubt we will be going back to Route 66 at some point into the future. We even have our passport now with some additional sites and things to stop and do at that we may have missed.
So the next video that you're gonna see from us is actually just a Route 66 recap, our thoughts and advice now that we have traveled along this, so stay tuned for that. And then following that, we're actually starting Highway 1 here in California. We just finished what I would probably consider the most iconic road here in the United States, and I'm so excited to go on another one. But until then, take it easy.
Living my best life, living my best life. So come and get